Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with video recaps, revisit of some of my older archival videos. And this entire recap is devoted to one topic, and that topic is boxed sets. We live in the era of boxed sets. I mean, don't we? There's just all these, everything is getting boxed up and reissued because the major labels particularly have these enormous back catalogs with some of the greatest artists who made zillions of recordings, mostly of the same stuff over and over again, and they have no clue what to do with it or how to sell it or how to differentiate one from another. So what do? Well, they just shove it all in a box, usually a limited edition, unfortunately, and they reissue it. And some of these things are fabulous. And so we've spent a lot of time over the past 4 years talking about boxed sets. And I mean, we just did the 80 disc Michael Tilson Thomas box, which was enormous. And then we've got, well, coming in a few weeks, the next Eugene Ormandy enormous box, the Jumbo Philadelphia 1960s to 80s box, which has got to have 100 and some odd CDs or 90 some odd. I mean, these things are enormous. And some of you point out, I think correctly, that I mean, while they're nice to have as like library editions, who has the time to get through all this stuff? Actually, a lot of them are handy because they contain stuff that we've collected over the years and they take up less space. So that's one reason to get them. But the other reason to get them, frankly, for a collector like me, I mean, a collector, you know, you see people who collect vintage cars. Well, they can't drive more than one at a time, right? Some of them they won't drive at all. Some of them they just want to have because it completes the collection and it's satisfying all for itself. But here, where listening actually requires a certain commitment of time and energy, it is difficult to have all these things. But it's nice to have the choice. What we want is the ability to listen to whatever we want to, whenever we want to. I want that. I want that badly. And especially for someone like me, I mean, collectors, we talk to each other. And so we talk about our collections and someone may say, oh, I heard this and it was terrific. And have you heard it? If you haven't, or if you haven't heard it recently, you want to go listen to it. So you want it to be available. So it's really good if you have a box sitting there, assuming you can find the box. That's kind of an issue sometimes. Anyway, this so far, I counted, we have a playlist. We have a boxed set playlist with 675 videos. Now, those 675 box sets probably contain, I don't know, 50,000 CDs. Who knows how many CDs they contain? It's really kind of extraordinary. I mean, and it all becomes a little bit overwhelming when you see just how much of it there is. I mean, I mentioned this just today, actually. I realized how much of it there is because my plumbing leaked and I had to unload a huge shelf of all my boxed sets, or most, not even all of them, but just a lot of them on a huge shelf stacked up there. And it took like hours to do. And they're now sitting in bins. And it's just, I'm looking at this stuff going like, holy crap. I mean, I'm not going to be able to actively listen to it. I have it for reference purposes, especially because I want to be able to talk to you about these things. It gives me an excuse, and a good excuse. I don't know what your excuse is, what you tell your significant others about why your apartment is being overtaken by these box sets or your home, whatever. But you'll think of a reason, I'm sure. So the three videos that I have selected for this particular recap are the 12 greatest box sets of all time. That's the first one. And that's a useful one to look at now and see if that's still valid given all the other boxes that have come out. I still think that one of the greatest sets of all time will always be one of the greatest sets of all time, irrespective of what happens later. But that's a nice way to start looking to collect stuff if they're still available, which is a big if. It's very, very hard to tell about, sourcing these things. And of course, downloading and streaming box sets is a whole nother issue because they're not in boxes, they're just streams. So you may still just be able to get the performances independently. And the next one is, what's the next one? Oh, yes, 10 box sets we desperately need. Now, this was 4 years ago. This is very interesting because most, if not all of them, most of them have since actually shown up, or a lot of them have shown up. out of the box sets that we desperately need. It was really interesting to see how the record companies actually issued these things. And I don't take any credit for that. I mean, some people have said that, because I mentioned them, the record labels are paying attention. Well, some do and some don't, to be honest with you. I have had a hand in lots of things coming out over the decades. I mean, series and various other things that I've been very proud of, but not these particularly. I just think the record labels do what they do, and it's no mystery who the great artists are and what the great performances are. The only mystery is if the record labels employ people who know that and so can act on the information. So there's that one, and that's fun to do. And then one of my all-time favorites, of course, 5 ridiculous, stupid box sets. Yeah, oh, that's fun. I mean, box sets that are just oh, good Lord. Why did they bother? A waste of plastic. Those are also fun to do because there really are quite a few of those as well. So have a look at those videos if you haven't yet, or if you don't know they existed, or take a look at the 675 item boxed set playlist to see all the stuff that's been shoved out there over the years. Wow, baby. It's pretty amazing. It really is. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for taking a look back into these archival videos. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. There's all kinds of fun stuff going on in the 4,500 or so videos that we've got here. Take care.